Hi everyone! Happy New Year! Welcome back to Hannah Worldwide and Friends. This is the first episode of 2026, and I have my beautiful friend Ashley Russell here, who has been here before. And this is our part 3, where I'm very grateful that she's taking some time to share the rest of her story or the continued story with us. So, hi Ashley, thank you so much for being here again.
Hi, no, thanks for having me. Very exciting.
I am actually quite stoked because you are my special case where it's like a series. It's like we interviewed, or I interviewed you. You talked about the start before you even left to the UK. And it was about your expectations, excitement, what you kind of hope to find or to see, how you feel about it. And it's super nice to then go to part 2, where you already spent more than a year in the UK. And then you came back for a visit to New Zealand, and we were able to kind of capture your journey and how it was going. And now part 3 is you came back to New Zealand. We will hopefully find out a bit more of if you're staying, if you're leaving again, but it's just great to kind of see it from the start to the end. So thank you for being up for it as well.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
I remember part 2, we pretty much talked about the topic fitting in. You weren't quite sure where you fit in yet, if your humor was kind of fitting in, or haven't really found your place yet, and still catching yourself daydreaming quite a bit about New Zealand and home, but
Mm,
also exploring a lot of places that kind of seemed like fairy like in your eyes. So, really different places from
yeah.
what you've seen from New Zealand. What has changed from the last time we talked to then afterwards when you went back to the UK, and how it evolved till the end before you came back to New Zealand now?
Well, that's a lot. A lot happened during that time, hey. Um, so I think it must have been like December. Um, so I went back, obviously, after we talked, and I still was running around in these fairy-like places. Found even more fairy-like places. Um, and I guess I the short story is that I got another job working in a different place and did some more traveling around, not outside of England, but just, oh, not outside of the UK, but I went to go and see Wales, which was awesome. And also the Lake District, which was extra super duper awesome. I definitely recommend that to anybody. It's like awesome there. And yeah, I made a lot deeper relationships, I think, just in that last just 12 months, I guess, that I was there, um, which made it really hard to come back. And it was something I hadn't had the first time around. So, um, yeah.
I wanted to ask you, the last time you came back to New Zealand and you were pretty determined to go back to the UK again, and you didn't want to give up. But
Mm,
also, I could tell that it would have been probably a lot easier to just come back to New Zealand and stay, just from your feeling. Would you agree?
yeah, it would have been easier relationship wise and just in terms of like comfortability. You have your family around if you're living in your own country. So, um, yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I have Sandra, I've got other friends in New Zealand who I've just known for years and years and years, and then in England was just establishing those things, only just when I left. And but so it did feel like I had started that, and I really didn't want to give up. Um, I was like, I really want to see how that goes, or like if I can just um, yeah, I guess I just wanted to find out where that went, and I didn't want to just give up when I was like in the middle of something. It really felt like I was in the middle of a mission, and
Yeah.
I had to complete it. Otherwise, you just don't know. It's one of those things you try and you don't know, and I do not
Yeah.
like not knowing. So it would have been easier to
Definitely.
stay here in a lot of ways, but it would have been. I just always would have had that tug on my heart. I think, yeah.
So would you say that in the end you kind of felt your place and you felt like more you would belong there? You mentioned you did find deeper connection. How did that happen? Because a lot of people probably you were more than a year into the experience and you still didn't quite feel like it's your place. You haven't found your people. How much time did it actually take you to find those people where you felt like you could establish a deeper connection? And also what helped you find those people? Like how did you make your connections?
Mm. I guess what helped me to find the people, it's just carrying on doing what I was doing, really. I think in the first few episodes we talked about, um, like I would go to church, and I think for that's a place where there's lots of people running around, lots of people my age in the city that I was in. So I was able to meet lots of people through there. Um, and I think just before I had left the first time, a few people had like joined the church and I really liked them. And I think because I was no longer the new person at church, I felt a bit more confident to just be like, hello, and just gather in all the new people and be like, join our group. And I think that really helped because then it made me feel like I wasn't a newbie anymore. Um, and then also, I started a new job with a different company, which was a startup, research startup, which was just awesome because everyone was so passionate about what they did. And I was just so inspired and in awe the whole time that
Yeah.
I was there, which sounds very corny. And I'm sure all of them would be laughing at me right now, but that is how I felt. And they were really social. As compared to the last place that I had been working in the UK, where they were just very antisocial, didn't really want to talk at work that much. But yeah, in comparison to this company, um, they would go out to the pubs after work, or we went into pottery painting together, always doing stuff, doing stuff over food, doing stuff over drinks, doing stuff over like physical crafts. I feel like is always good for me, just because you sit and chat in like an informal environment and form those relationships. So I think that, well, I can't remember the question, but yeah, something something.
So this is kind of how you feel like that helped a lot to then actually find the people that were right for you and that made you feel like you could form closer connections.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think just it's time, and I'm one of those people who I need a lot of time to like trust somebody, and and feel like they genuinely like me. I guess because I'm just all the time. I'm just like, do they like me? Do they think I'm their friend? Will they let me go out for coffee with them? So, um, yeah, I think yeah, it probably takes me a little bit longer to trust than maybe the average person potentially, but it is so. It's
Yeah.
just sometimes it's just time and just waiting it out and just being there and turning up and not giving up in the middle of it. Yeah.
That's a really good advice as well, to not give up in the middle of it. Would you think you have done something different from before? Or you would really just say you carried on the way you did it before and you just didn't give up? Because, sometimes when you get a bit more comfortable, maybe you were then the person initiating more or going more out of your way to meet people. Would you say you have done that too? Or would you think the time helped and the change of jobs also helped to just continue doing what you were doing before, not changing much, but it just had a different impact because you met a different group of people, like with a new job and everything.
I definitely think that if I had started with that first job that I was working, if I had quit that earlier, I think I would have had a much better time because I think that environment was just causing me a lot of anxiety. which kind of seeped out into all my other relationships that I was trying to start up at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And it's really hard when everything's all changing all at once to differentiate between what is causing what anxiety. Like, is it the friends? Is it the this? Or is it work? And it was work. And as soon as I removed that from the problem, I wish I had done it sooner.
Oh.
But as soon as I removed that from the equation, it was like, wow, my relationship just kind of like took off, and I felt so much better about myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, but definitely having that reset coming back to New Zealand and being like around people that I knew loved me was really good. Like, just confidence boost, being like, oh no, I actually am a cool person. And then go back to England and be like, hey guys. Yeah.
It's me again. It
Yeah.
is such a good point. Thank you so much for bringing that up, because I think we underestimate how going abroad by yourself does something to your self confidence and to yourself, maybe not too much the self esteem, but definitely to your confidence, because you think you have it all because you grew up with your family. They are your biggest supporter. You have your friends that you know for years, as you said, and you know they love you because you have tested the relationships already and you know they have your back. And then all of a sudden you go overseas and you meet new people. You are trying to be just as confident, just as cool, but you realize the reaction is very different. People not always get you or your humor, or you just don't really feel like, okay, there is a person you can actually go and cry to,
Mm.
and you are lonely at times. So it's such a good reminder for everyone who has the chance, because not everyone can do that, to also remember who the people are that actually fill your cup, make you feel strong, and make you feel like yourself, and remind you on what you can achieve, how strong you are. And for you to come back to New Zealand and then actually kind of filling up the energy of, no, wait a moment, I'm actually a pretty good person, I'm cool, I'm funny, and there are definitely people that love me. And then going back to the country, and I guess you were able to show up for yourself in a little bit of a different way as well. At least that's how it sounds. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think after I went back, and like started a new job and stuff. It was like, oh, I really needed some boundaries. Um, just in, like how much I take on, or how much I want to take on, or what kind of relationships I want to have at work, and um, and how much I'm going to let that affect me. So I think
Yeah, yeah,
when I went back, it was like, yeah, no, refresh. I think it's new perspective, isn't it? A bit of perspective, and then
yeah.
yeah,
So I could see also on your socials, you found your people and you looked a lot happier, and you really looked like you belong there. You belong to a group of people, which I find always important. If I wouldn't have any friends here, I would not even consider staying in New Zealand. It's like the people that make it, even though the
yeah.
country's beautiful and I feel grounded and like at home. The people are the ones that actually make you feel at home the most. So I was very happy to see that you actually found those people and you had a positive experience, even though maybe you can add something about that too. You were trying to establish a little bit more music over there. I
Mm.
think this plan didn't quite played out the way you wanted it to. Have you done a little bit more music over there?
Yes and no. I think it's funny that you call it a plan. Just like there was no plan. I
No
was just like, I
plan.
would like to do more music, but
Yeah,
um, and that was kind of like something that I had in my mind as maybe like a bit of a dream. But there was definitely no me going over there and being like, I'm going to do this, 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 and this to achieve
yeah,
this. I just kind of got over there and I was like, oh my gosh. Um, and I think with the whole music side of thing, I really have learned to let go of the intensity of it. I think there's been a lot over the course of my life where I've been like, I really want to do music and I'm going to write this many songs this year and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. But I think when I got over there, there was just so much other stuff that just seemed more important in the time. Um, and whenever I did get to do music, it was just for like a really fun situation, which has really brought the joy back into it for me, to be honest. And I think that's kind of it's turned out to be more important to me than actually doing something professional with it. Maybe it's just
Yeah.
that actually being able to enjoy it again, because I definitely just lost the love of doing it and was kind of doing it more for I don't know, like moving somewhere with it. But yeah, I had a really great friend there called Ed, and he is a good musician. You definitely have to check him out. Um, but um, me and him just started doing some music together for open mic nights that we got invited to by another friend. Um, and he's just the funniest guy. So I don't know how much music practice we would actually get done, but we would turn up to the open mic night and then just have a blast. And like you can tell, like
Mhm.
when we're on stage and we're in front of people, like the stage banter is good and it's natural because we're just having a really fun time together.
Yeah.
And the audience at those open mic nights were so supportive. Um, and that was awesome. Like there was so many different ages of people doing stuff. So that was definitely one of the highlights of me. Um, in my music there. And that wasn't something we did heaps. It was like once a month for like 3 or 4 months. And then I also, through that open mic night, the people who ran that, they were running just like a miniature stage in one of the Bath, some sort of Bath festival, Bath being the city that I was living in. Um, and so I did get to do some performing for them. Like I think I did like half an hour
Yeah.
um, of just like performing in Bath, which seemed totally insane to me. That was just solo stuff. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm on the other side of the world playing some solo music to some people that I do not know. It was just an awesome opportunity. So I think while I didn't get to do heaps and heaps of music, everything genuinely enjoying. Um, and I got to join the worship team at church, which again is just like another way of meeting more people who kind of are on the same page as me, and that was awesome again. And everyone was so encouraging. Like I'd play the piano and it'd be like the smallest, tiniest thing, and they'd be like, "Whoa, you're so amazing!" Like, you know what? I feel amazing. It just makes you feel so much more comfortable and love what you're
Yeah.
doing when you feel like people appreciate it.
Yeah.
And for the music side of things, it's definitely just like meeting different people and people who do things differently and have different perspectives on how they do things has been really good.
Honestly, I'm so, so happy to hear that. It's really amazing to see how it can sometimes be like that you're chasing a career or looking for so much more, and you're like pressure yourself a lot, and you have the highest expectation of yourself when it comes to music and what you would like to achieve. But then when you actually take out the pressure and that feeling of you must write this many songs or must become the next superstar in the UK, then yeah, super lovely how you said you found your love for it and your joy for it again. So that's a pretty awesome outcome, and I'm sure it taught you something, and you will take that with you for the rest of, yeah, even here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So what was in the end the reason for you to come back to New Zealand then?
Yeah, so after everything amazing happened in my life, my youngest sister decided that she was going to have a baby and that she wanted to get married before she had the baby. Oh, just not my thing, sorry. Um, and therefore, we had like 3 months to prepare a wedding. So
Wow.
I was like, as soon as she told me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And just got on a plane basically a month later and left. It wasn't really any question in my mind about it. Um, I'm very family oriented, so it was kind of odd that I was on the other side of the world, really. But I think when she decided that, well, when they found out that they were pregnant, I was just like, well, that's my main like biggest values is just family. So, um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's got on a plane and decided it's time to be cool auntie. Yeah.
Wow. So the moment, so while you were there and you didn't know that your sister is pregnant, you were still thinking, well, I'm still living here as long as I want to or how I feel
Yeah,
like.
I was fully like committed to doing another 2 years there. Like because I'd started this new job and I was like, it's really cool. And I was really enjoying myself and all my friendships and everything was going great. Discovering all like new places to go. I was loving it. Like there was so many op shops. Um, I was living my best life, and then um, yeah. But as soon as I found that out, I was like, you know, um,
Wow.
drop it all, really. I don't think anything means more to me than my family. So all these things I can rebuild, like, and there are things that I'm willing to go without. But um, going without a relationship with someone that's in my family and like the first baby of the generation, I don't feel like I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is such a big step. Like, not everyone would do that, especially for you.
No, I was
Like,
made very aware of this by so many
yeah.
people because, like as soon as I was told, I just went out and basically just told all my friends. I was like, I'm gonna be going, and I think every single person was like, "Why? You don't have to do that. Like, you're probably not even gonna see the kid very much, or like, it's gonna be so young, it's not gonna remember you." And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I, yeah, I guess it's not really about that. And for me, yeah, so I'm very aware that it's not like a normal thing necessarily to do, but in my heart, it just feels like that's where I find life and purpose. So, yeah.
Wow. I actually find that so inspiring. I mean, I probably wouldn't have considered even if my brother would now have a baby. Even though family is a big part of my life and I love them, I would not have gone back. That for me, I think in my mind, it's their life and I want to be part of it. And I'm always sad that all my cousins' babies and kids barely know me. I was so, so happy when I finally met them properly and they were yelling my name and said, Hannah, 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 and
Oh.
my heart. But would I go
Mm,
back for that? No, I wouldn't. So it's, and does it mean I don't have my family as a value? No, it doesn't. But it's definitely a very different driver for me, what I want in my life and where I find purpose. And I think the word purpose is really important in that aspect because for you, this is everything.
mm,
It's becoming really clear in the moment your sister tells you, I have a baby. And in your mind, it's immediately, I move back home.
mm.
See ya.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me as well, like it's always and when I left New Zealand, I was kind of like, oh, I'll try stick it out for 2 years. That was kind of like my initial goal. And about it'd been 2.5 years when she'd given me that call. So I'd kind of been thinking, oh, do I want to stay? Do I want to go? And I was kind of deciding on like, I think I'll probably stay because I'm having a good time, got good friends, blah blah blah. Um, but I think, yeah, it's funny those things. It's one of those things you can't predict. Like, people will ask you, what would you do if this happened? What would you do if this happened? And usually you just don't know. But as soon as
Yeah.
she told me, I was like, I know. Like, it's been in the back of my mind, like, yeah, yeah. I think I didn't expect it to be so soon because she's quite young.
Yeah.
And my other sister wasn't about to have any babies. So, so I just was not expecting it to be so soon. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you always have that in the back of your head, though, that you definitely go back to New Zealand one day and that the abroad experience is just a period of your life that will definitely come to an end?
I think when I left New Zealand, yes, that was the case. In those last few, probably like 6 months, it got a little bit blurry because I was just having such a good time and I was enjoying it. And I was also in a relationship for 3 months. And I think that definitely, I was starting to think, oh, if you get into a relationship and it works, I can't like thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to like run off to the other side of the world. So it did get very blurry. And it was very hard to tell and why I was thinking that. But I think, Yeah, I think, yeah, I guess once that sort of relationship ended, um, it was a lot easier for me to be like, oh, I think I'll go back home maybe. But yeah, when I came back the second time, I think I was having a really good time. And so it felt like it did get blurry. And I was like, definitely was considering, oh, maybe I can stay. And I think I probably could have if I wasn't the kind of person that I am. But then, um, yeah, it just, yeah. But my sister was like, gave me the call, and I was like, nah, it's not worth it. So, as fun as it was, um, yeah, now I'm home.
Yeah, so the big final question on this one, are you going to stay in New Zealand, do you think?
No one believes me when I say I think I am. Like, I have so many friends, like, no one believed me when I left England. They were like, you'll be back in 6 months' time. And I was like, no, guys, like, I've made up my mind. And my friend Sandra's always saying to me now, I don't really believe that you're staying. I'm mentally preparing for you to just leave me again. So I, but I feel it would be crazy to have decided and then to undecide. And I'm pretty committed to decisions when I make them, to be quite honest. Um, People think I make them really fast, but they're pretty considered, I think. I don't think I've regretted things in my life. Let's hope this isn't one of the first ones.
And she said that and smiled. Cheeky smile. But
Yeah,
honestly, I mean, the good thing is we are allowed to change our mind, you know. You can be really
yeah,
certain right now. And
yeah.
then in even if it's in 10 years, you know, you can be like, look, family time and everything, and it's important to me, but now I feel ready to go somewhere else again. And you are allowed to do that, you know. So
Yeah, that's a really good reminder, actually. Yeah. I'm definitely can get in that space where it's like, oh, I made this decision and now I'm committed to it. And then things start going changing because there's seasons, isn't it? There's seasons for everything. Um, so I definitely
yeah,
do have to be aware of that going forward. Um, hmm.
absolutely. Um, One question I ask myself, and I think we talked a little bit about in part two, and I kind of just wanted to follow up on that as well, is now since you have been an immigrant yourself or like an expat, do you think you will treat other internationals, other experts in your own country a little bit different? And if so, how would you think your way of treating them or dealing with them or just engaging with them, how do you think has that changed for you?
Yeah, do you definitely have I definitely have a lot more empathy for them, yes, and compassion because it is really difficult. Um, and I guess you can see that they're like putting on brave faces, and being positive. Um, I think, yeah, probably I think the major change is just that I wouldn't just assume that they're fine and that they have lots of friends, or I wouldn't just assume that even if they have friends, that those are um, kind of people they want to be hanging around all the time, or that they don't want new friends, and different groups of friends. I don't know. I guess I think I'd be eyes open to that sort of thing. Whereas if you have like they're talking to that person over there, they're all good. Um, so yeah, I'd like to think that I'm just a bit more checking and compassionate, um, and intentional when I'm talking to them. So yeah,
Thank you. I think that's a really great ending for our third part and final part, I would assume, especially with your commitment to your family, with the love and care you have for your family, which is really beautiful. And it's such a great reason to come back home. So, thank you so much for sharing your story and for having me follow you around from the start till the end of your UK journey. And I'm glad you could make some new friends, which obviously you can still stay in touch. You can visit. It's not the end of a new connection, it's just the beginning, really.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. No, thank you so much for me. I think it's been awesome doing this, and then listening back on the journey and seeing what's happened and how far I've come. Yeah. It's been really special. I feel very special. You've made me feel very special. So thank
ah,
you.
thank you. Thanks. That was amazing. And it's really great to have you, to be able to follow you along, to have a whole series and like that yeah, as I said, from start to finish, which is really rare. So thank you also for being so vulnerable, sharing your insecurities or your like just what you're afraid of, and now kind of full circle coming back home. So I'm hoping everyone who is listening or watching enjoyed it, can listen back to part 1 and 2 to kind of understand the whole process, and maybe even let us know if you can see like the growth, the change. So I will definitely listen back again and also see if I can see the change from part 1 to part 3. And it was special for me too. So thank you so much, Ashley, for being part of Hannah Worldwide and Friends. And I hope everyone else enjoys it too. So see you next time. Bye.